Hello, my name is Jason Lazarus, founder of Synergy. With me is Ashley Weiland, one of Synergy's incredibly talented senior lien resolution experts. Ashley started her professional career with an entry-level position in Optum subrogation department and worked her way up to senior analyst level, but quickly realized she was working for the wrong side. Since joining Synergy in late 2020, Ashley has successfully resolved over 600 liens and achieved significant savings for injured clients totaling over $30 million dollars, with an average lien reduction of 45%. She's passionate about our mission of helping protect the net, which her stats show she's incredibly good at. So, Ashley, for personal injury firms, what are the key strategies they need to know to effectively negotiate and resolve healthcare liens?
Yeah, of course. So the biggest thing for me is I just never take what the lien holder is telling me at face value. I do all of my own digging. I come from the other side, obviously, so I know some of the tricks that they do to try to misrepresent what the plan's rights are or what their lien amount is. The biggest one that I saw happening at Optum, that was like one of the things that triggered me to like, wow, what am I doing? It's like they'll change the ICD codes and they'll make something that's way far down the line, like a fifth or sixth code up to the primary diagnosis code to make it look like the entire visit, the entire claim is related to an accident. When in point of fact, if you look at the medical records, they went in for a general checkup and maybe 5 minutes of that appointment was spent like, oh yeah, I injured my back, but we're good. We don't have to talk about that. But they still have to put it in there, right? So just always questioning what the lien holder is telling you, doing your own digging. I would say 50% of the time or more that I spend on a case when I get a new case is doing research on the facts of the case, on the plan, on the if it's like an ERISA, I'll do research on the employer, and then obtaining all of that information and setting up the strategy ahead of time. Um, Information is always going to be beneficial. You want as much information as possible. Any little piece of info that you've got, whether your argument's legal or equitable, it's all just going to be more arrows in your quiver that you can use against that lien holder to knock down their lien amount and get a further reduction. Um, you never want to use all of your information at once. You never want to submit this giant request with every fact that you have on the first pass because they're all told that the first request needs to be told no. Like you send that McCutcheon letter for ERISA, you send that statutory right letter for every other statutory lien. So the first answer is always going to be no. So you want to have information held back so that you can go back to them and say, well, here's another reason to reduce. Here's another reason to reduce. You always want to have a tiered approach. And then don't just stick to black and white. Get uncomfortable, get out of the black and white, get into that gray space. A lot of our arguments are going to be in a gray space and know the counters to your arguments. And then again, tiered approach, prepare ahead of time, know what they're going to say so that you have your next step already planned out. All of these things put together, that's along with a really stubborn personality, are what really helps me get the best reductions on these really tough liens.
Well, no surprise what you said that there's a lack of transparency and candor on the part of some of the recovery contractors in using that approach of not a fire hose, but giving the lien holder bits of information along the way to try and get them to ultimately reduce. But, for personal injury law firms, instead of dealing with these kinds of headaches and trying to figure out the strategy, which we have people that know the inside baseball, people like Ashley who've been on the other side. You're better off outsourcing and partnering with Synergy because it'll save your firm a lot of time and money instead of trying to figure out what tactics to utilize to get the best results. Just leave it to Synergy and we'll get the best results possible.